Hello, you're watching the Daily Roundup by People's Dispatch, where we bring you some of the top stories from around the world. Let's take a look at the headlines. US university workers continue strike demanding higher wages. Peru's ousted president sent to 7-day detention. Israeli forces kill 3 Palestinians, injure dozens in fresh raids. And China holds summits with Arab world and GCC. Part-time faculty workers of the New School University in New York City, United States, will stop receiving wages and healthcare premiums on Wednesday, December 7. The workers are currently on a 3-week-long strike demanding higher wages in line with the rate of inflation, including pay for out-of-class work, job security, health insurance, among other demands. Workers are additionally asking for other work-related issues to be addressed, such as a redressal mechanism for workplace harassment and discrimination. The strike was launched last month on November 16 after more than 2,600 workers who are members of the ACT UAW Local 7902 Workers Union voted in favor of taking industrial action. However, reports noted that only about 1,500 of them are actively on strike, as not all of the faculty workers are teaching this semester. The New School strike is reportedly the longest adjunct strike in US history. Additionally, it is part of a much bigger, wider strike taking place in the University of California school system. Workers across that system's 10 campuses are currently in their 4th week of a strike. They have for long been protesting against the low wages along with other work-related issues such as parental leave, childcare support, among other issues. More than 48,000 workers are participating in the larger strike. Some of the striking workers have reached tentative agreements with the institutions. They have said that they will continue to take part in the strike in solidarity with others whose demands have not yet been met by the management. Meanwhile, reports noted that the union representing the workers and the New School in the middle of the strike on December 1 entered into talks following the workers refusing the university's last, best and final offer. The Supreme Court of Preparatory Investigation in Peru on December 8 ordered former President Pedro Castillo to be sent to 7 days of preliminary detention in relation to the ongoing investigation against him. The court's decision was reportedly made at the request of the Peruvian prosecutor's office. The detention period is set from December 7 till December 13. The prosecutor asked for Castillo to be arrested, citing the fact that the former president presents a high and imminent risk of flight in order to evade justice. The prosecutor further claimed that the former president, along with his family, was intercepted by authorities while on their way to the Embassy of Mexico to seek asylum. Castillo has been charged with crimes of conspiracy, rebellion, and breaching constitutional order. Castillo was removed from office in what has been termed as a coup on Wednesday, December 7. After 2 failed impeachment motions over the past year, the far-right Congress approved the impeachment request against him for permanent moral incapacity to continue in office, with 101 votes in favor, 6 against, and 11 abstentions. They called for another plenary session hours later to swear in Castillo's Vice President Dina Boluarte as Peru's new president. The vote in Congress took place hours after an attempt by Castillo to prevent it from taking place. Castillo had decreed the temporary dissolution of Congress, called for fresh parliamentary elections in 9 months, and installed an emergency government to rule the country until the legislative powers were renewed. Further, he had called for the organization of the judiciary, the public ministry, the National Board of Justice, and the Constitutional Court. Additionally, he ordered a nighttime curfew from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. throughout the country. However, immediately after his announcement, almost his entire cabinet resigned, and the conservative opposition sectors began accusing him of having attempted a coup d'etat to seize power illegally. Additionally, the left-wing Free Peru Party, which sponsored Castillo's presidential candidacy in 2021, rejected the move. In our third story, continuing with the murder of Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, Israeli forces shot and killed 3 and injured at least 10 others in Jenin on Thursday, December 8, raising the total number of those killed in the city this month to 5. The Palestinians killed on Thursday were identified by the Palestinian Ministry of Health as Sidki Zakarne, 29, Tariq al-Damj, also 29, and Atta Shalabi, 46 years old. The 3 were killed after a large number of Israeli security forces tried to enter the city and were confronted by Palestinians. The Israeli occupation forces opened indiscriminate fire at the Palestinians who had gathered to oppose the early morning raids in the city and the refugee camp nearby. According to Wafa news agency, the Israeli forces also attacked with gunfire an ambulance that was trying to transfer the wounded to hospital. The driver and other staff narrowly survived the assault. A number of Palestinian houses were also damaged in the indiscriminate attacks carried out by the Israeli occupation forces. Israeli forces arrested 15 Palestinians during the raid. In a statement issued later, the Israeli forces claimed that they had come under attack when they entered Jenin to make arrests of some wanted terrorists, the Times of Israel reported. Palestinians have disputed the claims made by the Israeli forces, claiming that while Sidki Zakarna was a member of the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, the armed wing of the Fatah Party, the 2 others who died were ordinary civilians and not affiliated to any armed group. They also disputed the Israeli claims of a gunfight, Al Jazeera reported. Hundreds of people participated in the funeral procession of those killed, shouting slogans against the Israeli occupation and demanding freedom. A general strike was declared by the residents to mourn the dead. All business and educational institutions remained shut. The Israeli occupation forces have been carrying out nearly daily raids in the occupied Palestinian territories, mostly at night, allegedly to arrest persons responsible for attacks on its citizens. However, Palestinians see this as another attempt to target those who are fighting the occupation. Jenin refugee camp and Nablus have been the targets of most of these raids. And finally, on Wednesday, Chinese President Xi Jinping participated in the first China-Arab Summit and China Gulf Cooperation Council Summit on Friday, December 9, during the second day of his state visit to Saudi Arabia. The twin summits are expected to yield results significant for regional and global political alignment. Apart from signing various agreements in areas related to economic, political, and scientific cooperation with Saudi Arabia on Thursday, Xi has emphasized that his visit to the region is with the objective to create a strategic partnership with the GCC and a much deeper cooperation with the Arab countries in general. Leaders from various Arab countries such as Egypt, Tunisia, Sudan, Iraq, Lebanon, Morocco, and Palestine, along with the rulers from the Gulf countries, participated in the first China-Arab Summit. On Thursday, Xi met with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and both the countries reportedly signed deals worth around $30 billion under a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement that they signed in 2016. The deal includes cooperation in areas such as green energy initiative, technology, transport, and construction, and are considered to be crucial for the Saudi attempts to diversify its economy under its Vision 2030. The Saudi-Chinese bilateral trade has already crossed $80 billion in 2021, with the Saudis exporting mostly energy resources to China, the world's largest buyer of oil and gas, and China has been exporting machines and other finished products to the Saudis. Significantly, the deals between Saudi Arabia and China also include a significant role of Huawei Technologies, which has been targeted by the United States, a close ally of the Saudis, with sanctions since 2020. Leaders of both the countries also agreed to establish a summit meeting every 2 years. During his meeting with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Xi emphasized that China supports the Palestinian people in their struggle to restore the legitimate rights and interests of their nation. She reiterated China's support to a two-state solution and promised to work for an early, just, and durable solution to the Palestinian issue. During his bilateral meetings with various leaders of the Arab world on Thursday, Xi mentioned China's support to their right to sovereignty and promised economic and political aid in their development initiatives. And that's all we have for today's episode. For more such stories, visit our website peoplesdispatch.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.